Welcome into Memorial Day version of the JUCO Full Windup, brought to you by Pepsi alongside Phil Stafford. I'm Kyle Stanley. We are in our Memorial Day gear, and we're also ready for one more team to go home and a first glance at the winner's bracket.
That's right. We'll start with the elimination game. That was Delgado taking on Harford. Both of these teams going into this elimination bracket actually showcased some great power in their game to get to this point. And Delgado, we weren't sure if we'd see that power. Harford, we definitely knew it would be there. Let's see if that transitioned into today's elimination game. You'd be hard-pressed to find a day that's better spent at the ball field than Memorial Day. Delgado trying to start a new winning tradition here at Simplesio Field. Sunday's winning pitcher for the Harford Owls, Josh Silvestri, gears up with the GoPro for us on his day off.
Get dubs! I was told to ask if I could get some lotion on your back, you know? Make sure you're not burning.
I got some from St. Mary's.
Did you?
Yeah, we tried better.
Why are you rooting for us?
How could you not root for a team with the Fighting Owl?
Sick! What's up, bro? What do you at, Mike Adams? What do you at, Mike Adams? Wait, slow down! Wait for me!
Ball seems to be flying a little bit more today. Hitting dingers.
1, 2, 3, Harvard!
Dingers, tanks, homers, whatever you call him, Owen McGee was ready to unleash it. His first trip to the plate, and Delgado jumps on Michael DeVecchio for an early advantage. Harford's designated hitter Joe Burton puts a charge into the gap at left center. Scoring from third is Dalton Weeks, and Burton isn't letting off the gas. And do you think he's going to celebrate? Yup! Picks up the triple, and we pick it back up during a two-out rally for the Fighting Owls in the third. Luke Johnson brings in 2 of his 3 RBI on the day with this poke up the middle. Owls put 4 on the board in the third. That sparks a team conversation from Coach Joe Shurman between innings, and it resonated with the Dolphins with 1 out. It's Owen McGee. That drops in the gap. McGee was 4 for 4 with 4 RBI. Delgado brings us back to a tie at 6s, but we wouldn't stay there for long. Another 4-run inning for the Owls, capped off by this single by Ben Baumberger. The Dolphins never caught their breath from there, and the Owls capitalized on 4 Delgado errors, including this infield fly that ricochets off of McGee's glove with 2 outs in the 5th. Harford survives for the second straight day, notching 8 extra base hits, and Coach Eller says, hey, it's all thanks to the spandex.
I got these camos on. I'm undefeated in them. Everybody check these out. I'm undefeated in these. We had great BP today. Hit a couple cars in over at Mesa, over the fence. That was nice. And we were just confident all the way through.
We threw 3 guys that had less than 10 innings pitched all year today. You know, you're in the World Series and you're throwing guys that haven't pitched 10 innings for you all year. I mean, you just got to be proud of how they competed.
You know, it's our first time. I told some other people, you know, we're young and dumb. We don't know that we're supposed to be playing tight right now. Dancing and doing rally towels and chairs. I don't even know what that means.
Now to our first winner's bracket game of the tournament. Yavapai and Cisco squaring off in the 2 p.m. game. The Wranglers' last contest was a slugfest against Darton State, and the Rough Riders are coming off a late victory against Delgado.
Dingo the rally dino. When he's out, watch out for dingers. Let's go.
The pitching looked dominant early on for both sides. Trey Patterson for Cisco and Hayden Durkowitz for Yavapai, both throwing zeros on the board through the first 2 innings. The defense helped too. Ryan Nelson, we saw on day 1 how hard he hits the ball, but he blasts another one again. Here's Nate Easley laying out in center. We might see that one again later. But with 3 pitches, the game completely changed. First pitch, Cal Hernandez of the Wranglers, high and deep to the left. Nico Delgado with the lead, but it's out of here, 1-0. Very next pitch, Wesley Phillips. It's got a good sound, it's got the height, and it's got the distance. Back-to-back home runs. And on the 3rd consecutive pitch, it's Dallin Farkas. Cisco just went back to back to back with their 8, 9, and 1 hitters. It's now 3-0.
We see it all the time in practice. But it's good to see it. It's good to see it in a game. And why? Why do you see it in practice?
So you're throwing great BP.
And of course, we have to see what the next batter did. Well, I guess a bunt will do. Probably wouldn't want to follow that up either. Later in the inning, Cisco tacks on. Zach Reams turns that fastball around into the right field corner. 2 more Wranglers come home. It's now 5-0. The Rough Riders tried to come back. Brock Eafen gets in on the long ball act. Didn't need the wind to help him on this one, and it may have hit a bus, but it's still only good for a solo shot. it gets Yavapai on the board. 8th inning, bases juice for Caden Golby. It's now 5-2. JT Newton on the mound gets in on his hands, but Golby fights it off into left field for a 2-run single. Now in comes Cole Carter to pitch. Gets the next out on a strikeout, but Ramsey Romano is set for departure. Connects on a 3-run home run, and Yavapai takes their first lead of the game, 7-5. Bottom of the 8th, Cisco trying to erase an unmemorable 5-run frame from Yavapai. Here's a good start. Grant Rubin's grounder results in a throwing error by Dylan Enwiller. 1 run scores, and the tying run is now on third. Ryan Nelson is up next, and when it rains, it pours.
It seems to me in Grand Junction, you just can't compound mistakes, and you can't have the big inning. They made some mistakes, and they gave up the long ball, but they didn't have a real big inning.
Another error ties the game, and then Wesley Phillips comes through with a clean base knock. 2 Wranglers score, and in a game that had 12 scoreless frames, Cisco comes away with the 10-8 win.
Guys battled. Wasn't very clean baseball on our end, but we battled as we always do, and we'll pack up, pick up our emotions, and get ready to get after it tomorrow.
Wind blowing out, small park, Colorado, World Series. I get all that, but we just need to do it for us and not our girlfriends. We need to keep grinding out, do what we do, and sometimes our girlfriends show up, and we get along.
We're arriving in style to Simplesio for Game 10 with Chattahoochee Valley.
Baby compete! Baby compete, compete, compete! Baby compete! Baby compete, compete, compete! Baby compete! Spend my dollar on a beer! Park the holler, meet the mountain moonlight. My Dixie land.
That's a dang good song right there.
Got me home, see my kin. Sweet home Alabama.
As we come to expect at the JUCO World Series, we started the night's festivities with a remarkable celebration for Memorial Day. First flying in 2 veterans who call Western Colorado home, with the crowd of 11,800 on their feet to show their gratitude for all of those who serve. And once the Doves were out, we were ready for some baseball. Chattahoochee won this matchup last year by 12 runs. This year is the Reavers who had the bats swinging. 3 straight singles to start the bottom of the first, and Jared Gates trots home to begin the scoring. A couple of pitches later, the pickoff attempt by Chase Atkins off target makes a clear path for Matt Hoig to head home. Chat Valley starts to make noise in the 2nd inning. 2 runners on but no outs, and Jacob Niggemeyer relies on the handiwork of Eric Mingus to record the out and avoid any damage. And that 5'8" freshman shortstop can also swing the stick. 2 outs in the 4th. Mingus puts it back up the middle, scores Luke Morgan from second. That extends the Reavers' lead to 4. Next up is Zach Hanna, and there's no stopping the flood. He follows suit with a shot down the line. Mingus and Moreau trotting home. It's a 6-0 lead. And Iowa Western kept the inning going. Nick Mankin in the 9-hole wants to stretch this hit to a triple. The throw is on target. The tag looks to be there. Make the call for yourself, but the inning continues. Iowa Western ends up putting 6 on the board, and the Chattahoochee Valley Pirates chase through the winner's bracket, hits a dead end as they're held to 4 total hits, and we'll call this an early game after 7 innings.
We just don't expect to see that out of Chase. I mean, you got a guy who has a .9 ERA, and I think he led the country. If not, he was 1st or 2nd, and you know, a ton of strikeouts on the year, and I think he only struck out a couple guys tonight. But you know, again, I mean, that's all Iowa Western there.
I was a little wild in the beginning, but as Coach said, I just had to live each moment, pitch by pitch, and take deep breaths, got in a little bit of routine. Defense did a great job behind me to help me out today, and the offense made it comfortable to pitch out there.
If you don't win this, and you got the fireworks, and you got thousands of people, and then you get here and you lost, and then you get here the next day, and you got a 3 o'clock game, and you know now you're really having to fight. I've been on both sides. I've lost on that 3 o'clock, and I've knocked people out a couple of times on that 3 o'clock game. So I prepared them for it.
Time now for your community hospital can't miss moments. We're starting out with the home run of the day. The Cisco Wranglers ordered a cheeseburger with triple the cheese. Back-to-back-to-back home runs on 3 consecutive pitches. And according to Coach David White, they did it for their girlfriends.
And your play of the day, forgive us for being a little selfish, but it's not every day a Real Recruits athlete continues to make plays in the JUCO World Series. Nate Easley, the proud Real Recruits athlete, making a spectacular catch out in center. Day 4 of the 2016 JUCO World Series, and Kyle will be sending home 2 more teams. We'll start in the first elimination game at 11 o'clock, Cowley versus Yavapai. That second elimination game at 3 o'clock. We heard Coach Raridan talk about how tough that transition is from the Memorial Day night game into that 3 o'clock elimination game. That 3 o'clock game is Harford versus Chat Valley. Harford playing for their 4th consecutive day.
Absolutely, and then we have a battle of the Texas teams actually in the winner's bracket. That should also be a fun one, and make sure to check out all of that action on www.jucogj.org. Also make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Real Recruits. As for tonight, here on Memorial Night, it's been a fun one. For Phil Stafford, I'm Kyle Stanley. We'll see you on Tuesday.